I picked up a last-minute babysitting job on Friday night. The parents sounded rushed on the phone, like they were already late for something. They told me their daughter was asleep, the house was unlocked, and I could just let myself in. That should have been my first red flag. When I walked inside, the house felt staged. Everything was spotless. No shoes by the door, no jackets on hooks, no family photos, just blank walls and perfect furniture like a display home no one actually lived in. I sat on the couch and turned on the baby monitor. A small crib, a sleeping child, soft breathing through the speaker, the kind of steady rhythm that makes you relax without realizing it. But after a few minutes, the monitor flickered. Just a quick glitch. When the picture came back, the blanket was folded differently. The stuffed animal had moved from the corner to the center of the crib. I stared at it for a long time, trying to remember if it had always been like that. Then I heard whispering. Soft. Female. Coming from the monitor's speaker. At first I thought it was interference, but the whispering got clearer, more intentional. A woman's voice saying, "Check on my daughter." I froze. The parents hadn't texted me. No one else had the number. I typed back, "Who is this?" The reply came instantly. "I'm calling from upstairs." My skin crawled. The parents told me no one else was home, but I could hear faint footsteps above me. Slow, dragging, like someone pacing back and forth in a room directly over my head. I called the parents. No answer. I called again. Still nothing. The footsteps continued, back and forth, like someone waiting for me to move. The monitor flickered again. This time the crib was empty, but the monitor still showed a sleeping child. Same blanket, same stuffed animal, just no baby. I ran upstairs. The hallway was dark except for a faint nightlight at the end. The air felt colder up there, heavier, like the house was holding its breath. The nursery door was half open. I pushed it gently. Inside, the crib was there, but it was covered in dust, thick dust, like no one had touched it in years. There were no toys, no clothes, no photos, just an empty room with peeling wallpaper and a crib that looked abandoned. My phone buzzed. A new message from the same number. "Thank you for watching her. We needed to see if you'd make a good replacement." I backed toward the door, but the hallway lights went out, one by one, each bulb popping softly in the darkness. Then I heard it. A child's giggle. Right behind me. Not playful. Not innocent. Just wrong. I turned slowly. There was no one there, but the air felt warm, like someone had just breathed on the back of my neck. My phone buzzed again. A photo this time. It was the baby monitor feed. Except the crib wasn't empty anymore. There was a figure standing next to it. Tall. Thin. Bent at an unnatural angle. Its head tilted toward the camera like it was listening. The message under it said, "She likes you." I ran. Down the stairs. Out the front door. I didn't stop until I reached the street. When I looked back, the house was dark. Completely dark. Like no one had been there in years. Like the lights I saw earlier were never on at all. If you were in that house, would you have gone upstairs? Tell me in the comments. I want to see how many of you would have stayed. I was hired to babysit a little girl named Emma last Saturday night. The parents seemed normal enough, tired, stressed, rushing out the door. They told me Emma was already fed, already bathed, and just needed someone to keep her company until bedtime. When they left, the house felt strangely quiet. Not peaceful, just empty. Like the walls were listening. Emma was sitting on the living room floor, coloring. She didn't look up when I walked in, just kept dragging a red crayon across the page in long, uneven strokes. I sat down beside her and said, "What are you drawing?" She didn't answer. She just pointed at the picture. It was a stick figure, tall, thin, standing in a doorway. Behind it, a smaller figure, a child, hiding under a bed. I tried to laugh it off. Kids draw weird things all the time. But then Emma said very quietly, "You're not the first babysitter tonight." I froze. "What do you mean?" I asked. She shrugged. "He came before you." I felt a chill crawl up my spine. "Who came before me?" She pointed toward the hallway. "The man." I forced a smile. "Emma, there's no man here. It's just us." She shook her head. "He was here. He talked to me." My stomach tightened. "What did he say?" She looked down at her drawing. "He said he was going to watch us." I stood up and checked the hallway. Nothing. Just shadows stretching across the floor. I checked the kitchen, the bathroom, the parents' room, all empty. But when I came back, Emma was standing at the bottom of the stairs, staring upward. "He's up there now," she whispered. I didn't want to go upstairs. Every instinct in my body told me not to, but I couldn't just ignore her. I climbed the stairs slowly, each step creaking under my weight. The air felt colder up there, heavier, like something was waiting. At the top of the stairs, I heard a soft tapping sound. Tap, 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 coming from the guest bedroom. I pushed the door open. The room was empty, but the window was unlocked, and the curtain was swaying, even though the air was still. I locked the window and went back downstairs. Emma was sitting on the couch now, hugging her knees. "He doesn't like when you close the window," she said. I tried to stay calm. "Emma, how do you know that?" She didn't answer. She just pointed at the baby monitor on the table. I hadn't turned it on, but the screen was glowing. Static at first, then a blurry image came into focus. A man, tall, thin, standing in the upstairs hallway, facing the camera. I felt my heart stop. I had just been up there. The hallway was empty. Then the man on the screen lifted his hand and waved. Emma whispered, "He said he wants to meet you." I grabbed her and headed for the front door. But when I reached it, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Don't leave. I haven't introduced myself yet." I looked back at the baby monitor. The man was gone. The hallway was empty again, but the last frame before the screen went black showed him standing at the top of the stairs, leaning forward, like he was listening. If you were babysitting and a kid told you someone else had already been there, would you believe them? Tell me in the comments. I want to see how many of you would have stayed. I was babysitting a little boy named Caleb last month. His parents warned me he was imaginative, which is parent code for he talks to things that aren't there. I didn't mind. Kids do weird stuff. But this was different. When I arrived, Caleb was sitting on the living room rug, lining up toy cars in a perfect row. He didn't look up when I said hello. He just whispered, "You're sitting in the wrong spot." I hadn't even sat down yet. I asked him, "What spot?" He pointed to the couch. The spot next to him. I looked. No one was there. Just an empty cushion. I laughed it off and sat in a chair instead. Caleb frowned. "He doesn't like when people sit in his spot." I asked, "Who doesn't like it?" Caleb shrugged. "The man." I checked the hallway, the kitchen, the front door. Everything was locked. Everything was quiet. Just me and the kid. After dinner, Caleb wanted to play hide and seek. He insisted I count in the living room. "Count loud," he said, "so he knows you're playing too." I didn't want to ask who he was again. I just started counting. 1, 2, 3. Around 7, I heard footsteps upstairs. Slow, heavy, not the light patter of a child. I called out, "Caleb, you're supposed to hide downstairs." he answered from the kitchen. I am downstairs. The footsteps kept moving. Across the upstairs hallway. Back and forth. Back and forth. I went to the bottom of the stairs and looked up. The hallway light was off, but I could hear breathing. Deep. Steady. Not mine. I backed away and found Caleb sitting on the floor again, staring at the ceiling. He's looking for you, he whispered. I tried to stay calm. Caleb. Who is he? He didn't blink. The man who lives in the walls. My stomach dropped. What do you mean, the walls? Caleb pointed to the vent near the floor. He talks to me through there. He says he likes when new people come over. I knelt down and put my ear near the vent. Nothing. Just silence. Then, faintly, a whisper. So soft I thought I imagined it. Found you. I stumbled back. Caleb didn't react. He just kept staring at the vent like he was waiting for something else. I grabbed my phone and called the parents. No answer. I texted them. Nothing. Then the lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then went out completely. Caleb stood up slowly. He's coming downstairs now. I heard it. A heavy step on the top stair. Then another. Then another. Slow. Deliberate. Like whoever, or whatever, was up there wanted me to hear every movement. I grabbed Caleb and ran to the front door. But when I reached for the handle, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Don't leave, you're in my spot. I looked back toward the stairs. The lights flickered once more, and for a split second, I saw a tall shadow standing halfway down the staircase. Not moving, just watching. If a kid told you someone lived in the walls, would you believe them? Tell me in the comments. I want to see how many of you would have stayed. I got hired to babysit for a family I'd never met before. The mom sent me pictures of the house, the kids' room, the living room. Everything looked normal, bright, clean, safe. But when I pulled up to the address, the house didn't look anything like the photos. The siding was old, the windows were dark, and the porch light flickered like it was struggling to stay alive. I double-checked the address 3 times. It matched. So I knocked. A little girl answered the door. She looked about 7. She didn't smile. She just said, "You're late." I stepped inside, and the air felt heavy. Not cold, just thick, like the house was full of dust I couldn't see. The living room was dim, lit by a single lamp in the corner. Nothing like the bright, cozy photos the mom had sent me. The girl sat on the couch and stared at the blank TV screen. I asked her what she wanted to do. She said, "We can't play until he's done walking." I asked, "Who's walking?" She pointed at the ceiling. I listened. At first, nothing. Then, slow footsteps. Back and forth. Back and forth. Like someone pacing directly above us. I tried calling the mom, straight to voicemail. I texted her. No response. The girl said, "He doesn't like when people call her." I asked who he was. She didn't answer. She just kept staring at the TV even though it was off. After a few minutes, the footsteps stopped. The girl stood up. "He's done now," she said. "We can go to my room." I followed her down the hallway, but something felt wrong. The hallway seemed longer than it looked from the outside, like it stretched farther the more we walked. Her bedroom door was cracked open. Inside, the room looked exactly like the photos the mom had sent me. Bright, clean, safe. It didn't match the rest of the house at all. I stepped inside. The girl didn't. She stayed in the hallway and whispered, "He likes this room the most." I turned around. "What do you mean?" She pointed behind me. I spun back. The closet door was open, just a few inches. but I knew it had been closed when I walked in. I walked toward it slowly. The air got colder with each step. My breath started to fog. I reached out and pushed the door open. The closet was empty, just coats and boxes. Then my phone buzzed. A text from the mom. Except, it wasn't the mom's number. It said, "Don't open the closet." I looked back at the girl. She was gone. The hallway was empty, silent. Then I heard breathing. Not from the hallway, from inside the closet. Deep, slow, heavy. I backed away, but the door slammed shut on its own. The lamp in the corner flickered. The walls seemed to pulse like the house itself was alive. My phone buzzed again. Another message. "You shouldn't be here. This house isn't ours anymore." I ran, down the hallway that felt even longer now, through the living room, out the front door. When I reached the street, I looked back. The house was dark, completely dark, like no one had lived there in years. If a house didn't match the photos, would you still go inside? Tell me in the comments. I want to see how many of you would have stayed. And if you're new here, hit subscribe to Insomniac Stories so you don't miss the next nightmare. I was babysitting a little boy named Mason last Thursday night. His parents were running late for a work event, rushing around the house while I stood in the doorway. Before they left, the mom pulled me aside and said something strange. "If someone knocks, don't answer, no matter what." I laughed, thinking she was joking. But she didn't laugh back. She just repeated it. "Don't answer the door." When they left, the house felt too big for just me and Mason. He was quiet, the kind of quiet kid who watches everything but says nothing. He sat on the couch hugging a stuffed dinosaur, staring at the front door like he was waiting for something. I tried to lighten the mood. "You want to watch a movie?" He shook his head. "He comes when the lights go out." I didn't know what that meant, but before I could ask, the lamp flickered. Once, twice, then steadied. Mason whispered, "He's close." I checked the windows. Locked, curtains drawn. Everything seemed normal. Around 9 p.m., I put Mason to bed. He didn't want the door closed. He didn't want it open either. He wanted it a little open, but not too much, which somehow made the hallway feel even darker. As I walked back downstairs, I heard it. A knock. Soft. Slow. 3 taps. I froze. The mom's warning echoed in my head. "Don't answer the door." I waited. Another knock. This time louder. I checked the peephole. No one was there. I stepped back. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Let me in." My stomach dropped. I typed back, "Who is this?" The reply came instantly. "You know who I am." I didn't, but something about the message made my skin crawl. Then I heard footsteps upstairs. Slow. Heavy. Not Mason's. I ran up the stairs and found him sitting up in bed, eyes wide. "He's inside," he whispered. "You took too long." I checked the hallway. Empty. But the air felt wrong. Thick and cold, like someone had just walked through it. Then the knocking started again. But this time, it was coming from inside the house, from the closet at the end of the hallway. 3 taps. Slow. Deliberate. I stepped toward it. Each knock got louder. More impatient. My phone buzzed again. Another message. "Don't open it. He likes when you open it." I backed away, but the closet door creaked open on its own. Just an inch. Just enough to see darkness inside. Mason grabbed my hand. "He wants a new babysitter," he whispered. He said the last one didn't listen. I didn't wait to find out what that meant. I grabbed Mason, ran downstairs, and headed for the front door. Before I opened it, my phone buzzed one last time. A final message. You should have answered when I knocked. I looked back up the stairs. The closet door was now wide open, and something tall was standing just inside the darkness, watching. If someone knocked on the door while you were babysitting, would you answer it? Tell me in the comments. I want to see how many of you would have stayed. And if you're new here, hit subscribe to Insomniac Stories. We drop new nightmares every single day.